Hello, all. Welcome back. Happy Friday Eve. I hope you had an amazing day. Before we start, I'll have our co-host introduce herself and then our guest. Several are in entertainment, so I'm pretty sure they'll give a good um, introduction to who they are as well as shout out their channels, I hope. So we'll start with that and then we'll start the show.
Well, it's their show tonight.
I know.
Oh, look, I'm sleepy.
Welcome to our home. Give me a pep talk first.
He's high, she's shy, and I'm over here being silly. So,
Y'all, we're actually having a good day. So will you come in, bring your good energy, some hot topics, some things that are a little sensitive, but we're having a good day. So don't come in here on your bullshit. Come in here like a grown person who has a conversation in your living room with a good girlfriends, homeboys, whatever. But bring good energy because we have good energy, and I don't want that to turn into bad for y'all. So okay, co-host.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is the famous homie. I think I missed last week, but I'm back again this week. I couldn't wait to get back to this topic, so I had to medicate up real quick and get ready. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share, because we about to get to it.
Jojo.
all right, everyone, this is Jojo Habanero, your IT project manager by day, cigar enthusiast by night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would like to welcome the ladies to the show tonight. Let's go.
Rose.
Hi, everybody. It's Rose. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing?
And you can
What's up,
follow
Rose?
her on Talk to Rose and subscribe.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, 'cause she say anything, so y'all gotta subscribe. She say anything. She say anything, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Miss Charlie, that is our niece, and we're on Talk to Rose with her on Tuesdays. So we have her as a special guest tonight, and she is serving a purpose. I'm telling you.
Get out of here. Hey guys, my name is Charlie Joe. I'm a little nervous. I just started my podcast. I literally was like uploading videos right before I got here, and I looked down. I was like, "Oh shit, let me hurry up." And
Don't even
then
wait
I
for me
thought the
when you
whole
uploading. You be like, we're
How you
no,
gonna be
doing
nervous and you got a
like
podcast?
I know, huh?
How
She
you
just
gonna be nervous and you got a
started. She's
podcast?
Because I
brand
just
For what?
started
new.
it.
Girl,
I'm
you
like
better
literally
shake.
like,
You better shake that nervous stuff off. Take a shot and
well,
shake them nerves off. Come
I
on
know,
now.
right? Oh, like, that's
Come on now.
perfect. Please, you
Come on
guys
now.
make me so nervous.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
I heard
fucking with
about
you,
the
Charlie.
crowd over here. Be nice.
Charlie Joe. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with
May I
Just so you know,
recommend?
Charlie, we all got that pep talk when we started. He's the one in production. That's my brother and my partner in our
Right.
production company. So when I be telling him, "Oh my God, I'm nervous," he be like, "Kind of bullshit is that?" Oh,
you. Right, snap off that
Pep
shit. Knock
talk.
it off. Knock off
It's the
that
Okay.
pep
nervous
talk.
shit.
Welcome. You guys can follow me over at Getting It In with Charlie Joe. Wait, hold on.
You got like a famous name. I feel like I already follow you or some shit.
right?
Who knows?
I
I
think
I'm
I
just
love
do.
when you put
gaslighting.
that
I'm
name.
pretty sure I do. Now it's good to put a face to the Instagram personality.
My
Yeah.
You
check it
probably
out.
do. That's my niece.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I I think I follow her. I believe I do.
Yeah, that's my niece.
Oh,
Yo,
that's your
I got
niece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bet. What's up,
In real
niece?
life, it's a
Yeah,
family
that's my.
affair.
yeah, in real
It's a
life.
family affair.
My mom and sister.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's get started. At the top of the show, anybody who is joining or will play this on playback that is waiting for what we promised for today is two things. One, I did a video already, so go take a look at it. As expected, it was not viewed as much. I'm pretty sure y'all waiting. It's okay. You asked me to do something and I did it, but you didn't show up. Either way, it's there. It's there for you. We care. Part two, we are going to discuss some things because I did the video by myself. And so Rose and I and the team are going to address some of the comments from last Thursday's show. Before we do, we'll give an update on Allie. Team, we support Allie once again. We'll show some updates for our viewers because we had some questions, and it sounds like a lot of people have some questions, and she answered them. So I want to play that video, and then we'll move into the main topic, which is what we were initially talking about, what the gaps in asking questions can look like, and how sometimes the wrong person can be put in jail for something like this. And then when they walk away, they are now the victim, and where's their support? So we will get started, and I will play the video. Relax, roll something up, do all that good stuff. Take a shot, take off your bra. Just don't have an attitude. Here we go.
And them socks. Take off them socks.
Take off the socks. Socks make me hot, so I do have to take it. Like changes my attitude. I'm like,
Facts.
I can't have a weave and socks. Like I can't do both.
Yeah,
Here
it
we
depends.
go.
I have on the sock and his hat.
No,
Free the Barneys. Free the Barneys.
he comes from your head and your feet. I need people to know that. Hot
Facts. Free
flash
the
alert.
Barneys.
Hot flash alert. Here we go.
For my mom, I met her when I was 14. She adopted me at 19. I was not able to live a peaceful life with my mom. I was adopted as an adult. This twin over here. A lot of people are getting people confused. Now, my bio mother is a piece of the devil. That woman, I would probably wear white to her funeral. Here, listen. This is my this is my real mother, right here. Yep, she a white woman, and we're twins. Now, here's the thing. My surrogate was a piece of evil shit. I really would wear white to her funeral. That is not a woman that you would call a mother. I don't even know what you would call that. But her, with the passion, some people, you gotta forgive. No, wait a minute. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But that woman is so evil. And I mean so evil. Not just for me. I was one of 6 kids of hers, of the paid off fortune, of the you take this child and hold on to this one and I'll pay you for that one. But she used to tell me all the time, I don't get enough money for you. For me. Out of the 6 girls, she got so much money. She got government assistance. She played the government. Said some of them had disabilities that they didn't have. She was on all kind of money. She was stealing social security cards, all kind of shit, right? And for me personally, I wouldn't go along with when she would take me to these government buildings to play or to do whatever she was doing. I wouldn't play along with it. I don't know why. I just wouldn't do it. So therefore, she got money for me by letting her boyfriends and shit abuse me, and no one cared. No one in the entire family cared. The family's huge. They did not care unless there was something in it for them. Okay? So I was raped a lot in my own closet by the chief of police. I was abused a lot in my own bed. I would move my little sisters over because there were sisters that I had that were smaller than me. And she was dating everybody. She slept with everything that walked. Okay? She had men in her life like buses. But all of them were a piece of my authority, from my doctors to my principals to everything. Okay? So I was abused a lot in a different way. Everybody was going through something in that house, but I was abused in a different way. Okay? Everybody blamed it on me because by the time I turned 13, I started to realize something's wrong. I talked to friends. I talked to people at school. This shit is not normal. This is not how you're supposed to get in trouble. I know it's a different culture, but this ain't it, right? So, but by that time though, I didn't know. I really thought everything was normal. So I was hypersexual. I was promiscuous. I had a lot of problems. I still do. I got a lot of issues. Okay. And I am not going to be that denial or liar to sit here and say that I do not. Okay. I am not healed. Not at all.
So I love that she broke it all down in comparison to the last video that we watched. And I know that So has seen it. I think she sent it to us, and then Rose sent it to me. Do you guys see this distinct difference in the clarity in that video? Like we called out when she answers questions or tells her story about the things that happen in her personal life closest to her. Like she said, the everyday people, there's a distinct difference in how she answers the questions. Because do you guys notice that, or do you notice something different? Let me stop there. I don't have an opinion yet.
Well, I guess it would be different because nobody's asking her a question, so she can tell her own story versus the other one when the interviewer was asking her the question. So that's, I mean, she could say what she want to say right then because she's not being asked questions.
Yeah, she was very forthcoming with the details of what was going on in her household, and even as far as like her thinking process, knowing that it wasn't right. I mean, I think it was very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Her details are so significant. So when you hear, so guys, the way that we found out about her is the initial video. This is where it started. The initial video was about um the diddler. It was about him and saying how she was a part of it as a child, as a favor on a table, right? So that video was the first video that I saw and Rose saw, and we were going to do a show on it. Before we did the show, we found out that there was a trail of videos. The other video that we saw kind of has some contradictions in it. The story wasn't put all together, which we know can happen for any trauma victim. But the point that we were calling out is that at the same time, the recent person for Puffy found to be untrue, right? So we were saying that it's two types of untruths. There's the type that's related with trauma because you put things together. It's called dissociative disorder. She actually calls it out herself. And then there's the one intentional lies. So we were simply calling out it's appropriate to ask questions. The person that interviewed her should have set her up better with the questions because it seemed like they were more interested in the celebrities versus everyday people, which she says on her own, you're not paying attention. I'm telling you that this started with CPS. By the way, guys, it's close. Riverside School District, Riverside CPS, and law enforcement too. But she was saying those things. But people just keep asking about celebrities. She's like, that's great, but what about the kids? So we called out some things that if we were paying attention, we would have questions about. That rubbed people the wrong way, which I can understand. You know, you expect that, right? But what happens if you don't ask questions? That's a question. What happens when you don't ask questions?
People get arrested. The wrong people get arrested. What? They can take anything.
And then from a personal perspective, what do you think is most important for a victim from a personal perspective, even though we have social media now to tell our story? If you were to reach out to her, what would you say?
I'm sorry for everything that you've gone through, and I'm sorry that it was nobody there to protect you at your most vulnerable moment and when you needed to be protected most. That's what I would say.
I wouldn't really know what to say, to be honest. I would probably, I mean, if it was like this and I could talk to her, I probably wouldn't really know what to say. With stuff like that, I just usually let people say what they want to say because you never know what's going to trigger them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would say. I would probably have to be in that moment to know what I was going to say. I honestly don't know what I would say.
Can I tell you why I respect that? Sorry, Rama, go ahead.
I would try to just approach it to where she would feel comfortable enough to speak. You know, give her space to speak. Of course, let her know, you know, that, you know, I feel bad for you going through that, but just give her space to speak. Make sure she's comfortable enough to speak.
Let me tell you why I appreciate all of those answers. So handled it from the perspective of where she's most comfortable and how she could help. And is it okay if I say something, So?
Sure, go ahead. I can say it myself. I was a victim. I've been a victim of essay, like even like, you know, not going too deep into detail.
No, don't.
But it's been in my life in childhood and in adulthood too. So it's intense. It's that. I think that's why it's so triggering and why I'm so passionate about it. Because it's like, what the hell? When I was younger, I didn't have the courage to speak up while it was going on, you know, and now, all the stuff that happened in my young adult life, I didn't have the courage to speak up about either. You know what I mean? And that led to me being labeled, and you know what I'm saying? I just didn't have the words, but I guess I needed to go through that experience and live life to where I am now, able to speak out about it and just give my opinion and my perspective, being that I was there, you know, not at the Diddy parties, please. I wasn't at the Diddy parties,
Right.
but I was a savior.
And I'm super proud of you for that, because for me, your answer was the answer you would have wanted to hear first.
Mm.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Compassion. You would be the let me hug you, you would turn into a mother for that person. And I think that's beautiful. Rose is like most normal people who have not addressed it, been with anybody. It's just, I don't know what to say. I would just listen to you. Ron as well. My perspective would be a combination of all, um, except for being a direct victim. But mine would be, you deserve to live the rest of your life the best way possible. What can I do? How can I help? What is it that we can, what are you willing to try right now, right? Because to your point, so if the person is not comfortable, you don't want to just start throwing all these things and solutions and stuff like that. You kind of want to ease them into letting them know that you're there first, and the purpose is solely for them, not just so somebody can hear their story. Not at first, later, like you said, you'll go into that part on your own. So I think that's really important, because we don't know who could be around us and come up to us. So that's why I wanted to ask that question. Like, have you ever thought about what you would say to somebody if you could talk to them? How would you help? And all of those things are helpful. They are. Um, Rose, in response to some of the comments that we received back, well, first, let me start with this. I got to say what my intent was, what the intent of the video was, and I got to reiterate the same things, and give a little bit more feedback. Is there something that you want to say? Is there a comment that stuck out, or something that you really want people to know that you may not have been able to discuss all the way? Is there something that you want to say?
I don't really remember all the comments per se, but I wanted to just say that I guess people took it the wrong way. They were saying that we was trying to pick her apart, and that wasn't our intention. We, like I said in the thing, and another thing is like we turned off the comments because X, Y, and Z. And like I said to the one viewer, I told her that's not why the comments were cut off. They were cut off because people were being rude. And I was wondering if people really watched the whole video or if they just watched clips of it, because if they watched the whole thing, we said over and over that she wasn't a victim. I mean, Lord, that she was a victim. We just felt like the stories didn't add up. But I kept saying over and over again, we kept saying over and over, I do believe that she was a victim. It's just that the stories were not adding up from 4 years ago to now. Like, they don't add up. That was the only thing. I never felt like that she wasn't a victim, because I believe that all the way. It's just the stories were not adding up. And as far as us not saying that we wanted everybody to believe what we believe, that's not the case either. Well, as far as for me, my niece, no, I don't care if don't nobody have the same opinion as me. That's not the type of person I am. If somebody don't believe in what I believe in, I don't get an attitude about that. Like, that's your opinion. Like, we're not made the same. We are made to have different opinions, and that's fine. But a lot of people are not like that, especially in subjects like this.
Right.
So in subjects like this, it's either, and I think it's probably the people that have been essayed and the people that haven't. So we have different views, but you still can have sympathy for them too. But we think a different way and they think another way. Like, they think whoever said that happened to them, then I'm with them all the way. I would, and us, we like, I don't know. And then they like, well, how you gonna say that she lying? But that's not it. It's just everybody's opinions are different. But in no way in fashion were we trying to say that the girl was not essay, because I believe that wholeheartedly she was. I believe she was. So I think it was just a misunderstanding, and maybe the way we was talking about it, I'm not sure, because but I sure didn't mean to ruffle up anybody's feathers, because in no way was I saying that the lady was not SA, because I do believe that she was. I just felt like her stories, as far as her timelines, were not adding up. And if you watched our videos and you watched the whole video that we posted in the other videos, then you guys will understand what we saw. We watched the whole video from 4 years ago and the new TikTok videos too. And if you guys seen those, then you will understand what we were talking about. Is we wasn't trying to say the girl wasn't essayed at all. At all.
So I have a question for you, and then I have a question for the guys.
Yes.
So you saw the videos, right?
Right.
The
Right.
So when you saw the videos, even as a victim, because here's the thing, I need everybody to know, first and foremost, we would never do certain things because do you see how close something is to us? You
Right.
don't think that we love our family more than any of y'all people that's watching. That's another reason why we stopped the comments, because those comments started to hurt people that we love, because y'all wasn't thinking about in y'all responses how y'all was talking to people. And I even said it like, hey, did you think about other victims might be in these comments? Because other victims feel like so. And so I want So to explain how, or discuss how she felt when she listened to it and if she had any questions.
Okay, so how I felt when I first even stumbled upon the video, I was like, I believed it immediately. Just with the climate that we're in and all the stories that we had heard prior and how everything was turning out to be true, it was like nothing is too far fetched at this point, like, you know. And then I feel like a lot of times people who haven't experienced that, first of all, you're blessed. And secondly, I think when someone hasn't been through that, it's kind of hard to not be inquisitive about it. Like, you know, like, well, why? And well, how? And like, you know what I'm saying? But when you living through it, it's not as clear cut, like, you know, as you would think. So I still don't, I believe her wholeheartedly. I believe everything that she said. I believe her being trafficked under the tunnels, because I even went into like looking into how many tunnels are underground, and it's like literally a whole underground city. Like, it's underground, like, you know. So at this point, anything is possible. And like I always say, anything they said he did.
But how did you feel when you seen the other video, the second one about her saying Obama and Biden and Trump and all that?
Okay, so the Obama and Biden, like, okay, so when she had said that Michelle Obama was a man, I think that was probably like the only thing where I was like, I don't know. Now it's getting a little.
What about Trump?
Conspiracy theory. I feel like Trump is involved in some form or fashion. Like, he may not have been at that particular party, but he was at the Diddy parties too, because of just how the hip hop embraced him and how they all wanted to look up to him. Everybody wanted to Trump. I'm gonna be like Trump. So I believe it, even if it was like in the early party days, like, you know what I'm saying, when it was just jumping off. Like, you know, I believe it. He probably wasn't doing it now, like after president. But then again, you can't put anything past anybody.
Especially not somebody with 35 cases.
Well, you remember back in the early 2000s, all the rappers they would always reference Trump in a song. Like, I could name one right. Yeah, remember? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say a line right now.
Okay.
Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. I'm in now. You know who that is? You know what I'm saying? That's Nelly. That's Nelly.
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one though. Everybody
they
always
all
talked about
did.
Trump.
They all
talked about Trump.
They
fucked with Trump. They fuck you. Even on the song with YG and Nip, when they diss Trump, YG says, we used to fuck with, like, he said, we used to all like you, like, but you when he said the weird stuff about the building the gate, then that's when YG and Nip dissed him. But he said before that, we used to fuck with you.
Right.
So yeah.
So this is why, from my perspective, I say, well, I was in HR for 13 years, and I've told people offline some of the things that I've encountered to educate and help my family and protect myself. I cannot obviously do it here. But without names, I told them. So one of the things that really, and I'll wrap this up and then allow everybody to speak, that stuck out for me is I was really angry at the interviewer. I was really angry at the interviewer because, and we called it out and said, this was an opportunity for you to truly help her and you didn't. At the time, it was elections. That Trump comment stood out the most. It ended up getting videos taken down because it says something like it's interfering with the elections or something. So you didn't position her well, and I don't feel like he protected her. Because as a reporter, if he would have just got some details that he could come in and say, I support you, I believe you, I've seen this behind the scenes. He was just exploiting her because he just allowed her to talk, but didn't kind of hone it in. And as an HR person, when somebody comes and dumps the whole story on me, I'm responsible to make sure I get the ducks in a row for that person. Because the first time when they telling you or when they telling you and they emotional, they're getting it out. It's not for them to put it all together. It's for the person in a situation like that to help them get it together. I would have told her to take that piece out. I would have been like, don't talk about them. Let's talk about the school district. Let's talk about this. I would have focused on that. And it seemed like he was more focused on the celebrities. So for me, even when I get upset, one of the things I do is I'll be like, huh. And a lot of people thought I was laughing. Me? No. And I said it actually. I was like, this shit is wild. How could you do somebody like this? So my question also, this is my last question. This is really big right now. If something had happened to you and you wanted people to pay attention, would it be far-fetched to say that since people are paying attention right now, I'm going to use that topic the same way we do as YouTubers, is pick a topic that's hot trending and then be able to teach a lesson or discuss it? Would you do that in her situation? Because you want people to pay attention because it's so big? Even if there are some untruths and you threw out some names that are not true and some are, would you do it?
I don't know. I mean, me personally,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Okay.
I don't think I would either, because it's a lot of stuff that we could just jump on the bandwagon and put it out there.
Well, I mean, if you was in her situation, not us.
Being that I was in her situation,
yeah, and people not listening.
It takes away your credibility.
Say it again, Charlie. Hold on 1 second, Rama, because I couldn't hear, so I want to make sure people heard her. Say it again.
It takes away your credibility.
Okay.
Even if you are trying to bring attention or an awareness, it takes away your credibility unless you put like a disclaimer in it and be like, okay, now that I have your attention, I only said that to say. You have to follow it up, but even like talking about me in my shoes, no, I wouldn't have did that.
Okay, brother.
So I'm trying to follow the whole story. So the media was interviewing homegirl we just saw talking, right? On the video. She was being interviewed. She was being interviewed by who? What was the network?
It was Pete. Hold on. I took it down, so I might not be able to see it. So hold on 1 second.
I got it. Precious, you got it in your phone still?
That guy, it was Pete.
Hold on, let me look.
Okay.
But that one was from 4 years ago. It's when it was from 4 years ago, because she kept on saying Biden and Obama essayed her and
Piers Morgan. Oh wait, no.
That they essayed her, and they would Biden bought her 3 times to essay her. And then I don't forgot how Trump even got into it. I don't even remember what they said. And she was like, but Trump
said, I feel like the only person that will help is Trump. It was Stu Peters' brother, Stu Peters, network channel, whatever.
Yeah, it was something like that. So she was like, the only person that could help is Trump. But it was just weird because it'd be like, where did he come in? Like, where did he come into this at? Like, it was just weird. But if you would have seen the videos from YouTube, like you said, when we first seen them videos on YouTube, I was like, what the hell? Like, it pissed me off. Because I'm like, this is crazy. And then how close to home she is. She was like in Moreno Valley. We all know how close Moreno Valley is to us. So we like, dang. So then when I seen that video, I'm like, wait, hold up. Because are two different stories. That's the only reason why we felt the way we felt, because we was Team Allie. I still am Team
I'm
Allie.
still cheating.
But
Yeah.
that was the only reason why we doubted some of the stuff, because we was like, okay, so now we seen these from 4 years ago, and it's just
Right.
contradicting everything that you saying now. But that's why we kept on saying we believe her, but we don't believe the celebrity stuff. We believe all the local stuff, like the CPS, the teachers, and the
Her
law
mom, the
enforcement,
boyfriend.
all that stuff. The boyfriend, we believe that stuff wholeheartedly.
Right.
But like we said, we think she put all those big names in it so it can get bigger. That's
Right.
all we were saying. I
Right.
believe the girl all the way.
And it was based on what she said, Rama. Not, we didn't just go off of the first thing we saw. I mean, you know how I
So,
do in our research. We went off of the things that we saw. It wasn't our own words. And we played the video that showed like her saying it. So that's
but
where
that's why I said it was like they need to see that whole video to
right.
understand what we were talking about. You know,
Yeah, I gotta
when
see
you
the
see
video
only clips and
because
stuff, and I say that all the time with Asia. I say that all the time. When people
Right.
send me a clip or something and everybody be all up in the air and
Yeah.
mad and all
We
that,
want to
I
see
be
the
like,
whole thing.
send me the whole video. I need to watch the whole video, because when you watch little clips and stuff, you could take something out of that and be wrong
Right.
about it. So I
Right.
always watch the whole video. So I
Right.
think that everybody that's seen that, they only seen clips of the video that was up there. They didn't get to see the whole interview to
Even though
understand.
we included it though. We made sure and include it because when we talk about topics like this in the description area, we include what we looked at because that's the only thing we can go by.
But you know,
So
most people nowadays is not going to watch the whole video. They're going to look
then you
at
can't be
what we're.
yelling at us like that
But
because
that's just the way of the world now. When people put stuff up, they're only going to watch what is in front of them. So whatever you put in front of them, that's what they're going to watch. They not going. Most people ain't going to go back and do research. So I could understand why some of the people were mad, because they only seen clips and stuff, and then they seen the stuff from YouTube with her, and then they see us saying, "Oh, whoop whoop whoop," but
right.
we seen a whole nother video,
And you actually
like a
said that.
whole video.
That's one thing that I'll call out. That was my lesson. We take feedback from everybody. Our young niece who is here, who just started, we had a talk last night and I was like, nope, I took it down. I did this. And the reason why I took it down was just for a moment. I'm considering putting it back up, and her voice is in my ear. Hilda's voice is in my ear. My mom, everybody's voice is in my ear that's close to me, because they all said the same thing. If you believe what you said, why would you take it down just because people don't like and understand it? You're going to be doing that the whole time. And Charlie Joe specifically, stand on business, stand on what and I listened to it. She
That's how I
did.
feel. Like,
I
yeah,
believe you can stand on business and stuff, but then some stuff ain't even worth the fight. Like where I am at now, like if I just don't feel like arguing with people. I'm about to, every time I get online, I'm about to be arguing with people and the things. And then if you viewed it, they gonna come to the next one. So it's like if you have to pick and choose. When you have platforms like this now, you have to pick and choose your topics, and know like topics like this, you gonna get that hate stuff. And if you okay with that, then like y'all said, stand on business. Don't view no comments. Don't do nothing if you stand on it. But you got to be ready for that. Don't put a video up and then mute the comments if you standing on that. So if you gonna mute the comments, you might as well take the video off. That's the only thing I'm saying is, I just, in my
But
44 years,
Rose, every single person that you responded to, because I looked up
I
until
didn't respond to everybody
no,
though.
no, no. The ones that you responded to and said, which part did you watch that made you say this? Did you watch the whole video? Not one person answered and said what they were referring to. Not one. Not
No,
one
they
single
didn't.
person.
But it's still, I ain't gonna feel like, and then just think the ones that we couldn't even see. I don't feel like arguing with nobody nowadays, because I get angry really fast. So me seeing you put all that stuff online, and I know that I can't reach out and slap the shit out of you, it makes me mad. So I don't want to argue. Like, I'm not about to argue with nobody. If I put up something like that, then I'll just take it down. That's why I don't even really do topics like that, because I don't like argue with people, because people put that stuff behind the keyboard and know if they see you in real life, it ain't gonna be about that. And then sometimes it's subjects like this that I'll say me, because I've never been essayed. I don't understand their feelings and how they're feeling. So it's like I can't relate to you because I don't understand. And it's like I don't want to argue with you about this because it's a lose-lose situation. You gonna still feel how you feel. I'm still gonna feel how I feel. And nobody is right and nobody is wrong. But in your mind, you right, in their mind, they right. So it's like a lose-lose situation.
Okay. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to say about this before we move into?
JoJo haven't said nothing.
Okay, JoJo is like, I'm not from here. I don't know what y'all do here, and I don't have shit to say about y'all here.
I'm soaking everything in and just trying to get as much information. I apologize, I was not here last week. Foremost, Joe, hearing your story, you're very brave to be able to speak up on your story. Really unfortunate what happened to you, and hopefully there's a way that you can recover from that. Um, if there's a way that we can do better, just let us know. We'll try and see how we can do it.
I think that we would do better if we wouldn't say nothing. That's what they don't.
I think that
Well, then that could be any topic, Rose. We also haven't had somebody have a baby on us in a marriage. We also haven't had this. Watch. Okay, so watch. I'm a this topic still goes into the next topic. So that's perfect. Let's bridge it to the next topic. I do have so everybody take a water break. Woosah.
Wait, I want to say one more thing.
Oh, of course.
So to all the people that's watching from last week, we apologize that we hurt your feelings. That I am really serious about that. Like I'd never be wanting to hurt nobody's feelings. Or
That's the
like
tough part.
I just think that we had it's a miscommunication in the way we said things because it was only clip shown. So I never want to make nobody feel bad, especially something like that. So I never want to make nobody feel bad. I think it was just a miscommunication. And if you guys can go watch the whole video that we see, then maybe it will make you understand why we felt the way we felt. That's all. Now we can go to the next thing.
Yes, and you are due that. Yes, ma'am. So again, let's take a break, Woosah, and look at this video. So now we are moving into the male side and what it looks like on the other side. This is about 4 minutes. But I'm going to break it up. So I'll play half, we'll discuss, and then I'll play the other half. And it is in relation to what the other side looks like, the sensitivity around controversial issues, and a little bit of statistics or not. What I want you to think about when we think about statistics, remember, is of the people that we can collect, this is the data. More specifically for this particular person, it's in his area. So think about if the number of false accusations in your area was high. He's able to talk about his area, and we'll go from there. Get a drink, roll up, get a quickie in 4 minutes. I don't know about quickies, but
no, leave me out the quickie. I don't want that.
it's hot in here. Here we go.
Nope.
Today we're talking about a controversial topic, false accusations of sexual assault. This show will include discussion of sexual assault that could be upsetting for some viewers. After generations of women were blamed for being victims of sexual assault, the pendulum has swung. A new movement to believe all women or start from believing says that we should take victims at the word and that false accusations of sexual assault are rare. How rare are they? Today's guest, criminal defense lawyer Joseph Neuberger, will share his experience with this topic, as well as his perspective on what false allegations do to our justice system, what the current zeitgeist of believe victims means for the presumption of innocence, and the role of defense counsel. This conversation may be controversial, and I want to reiterate that the experience of victims is real and terrible. But what can we learn about the role of the criminal justice system when false allegations do occur? And what are the impact of those allegations on the falsely accused? Joseph, thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation. So let's talk about how common it actually is for false allegations to happen. Is there any information that we have on that?
Yeah, so there's no reliable statistical data. There's no one who really wants to tackle tracking false accusations. And the other thing you can imagine is courts are somewhat reluctant to call out an accusation as truly false. In some instances, you'll have a client be declared not guilty in such a way that you know they are factually innocent. And those sort of decisions are rare, but it's because of the nervousness about how we have to deal with these cases. But it's not rare. And in my practice, I'm seeing it in at least 50% of the cases we're handling.
Now, there's obviously, as you kind of alluded to, a difference between a false or a fabricated allegation and one that simply can't be proved. So are you saying that we actually don't have any way of knowing how many are actually fabricated, but that you do see that in your practice?
Yeah, so that's a very good distinction. So I do see in my practice cases at the end of the day that we can determine based on solid points of evidence that the accusation itself is false, that the evidence is made up and fabricated. And that would amount in our cases to be at least 50 to 60% of what we defend.
So as we think about the laws that we have around this, with now more social media and people being able to express their grievances and get more attention on the matter, and then as well as people knowing, at least in the US, I'm not sure about globally, but in the US, that you can file a civil suit, you can file for money, you can go for the school. Do you think that there should be laws in place around this for people that blatantly false accuse someone?
Yeah, they need to go to jail.
Ooh.
They need to go to jail. Ain't no fines or nothing. Yeah, they could put the fines on there too, but they need to go to jail because they literally ruining somebody's life over a lie. No, they need to go to jail, and they need, and not for no couple of months. They need to go for however many years that person would have went to jail. They need to go to jail.
It's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope, being that it was literally, I was watching it somewhere. I'm so sorry, I don't have all my facts together, but it was like
Okay.
1,000, not even 1,000, but it was a lot of girls that were arrested for reporting rape, and the police station was basically saying they were lying, and then these girls were turned around and like they were arrested. They were charged with filing fake police reports and all that. I'm talking about, it was like maybe 2 months ago.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
I'm like, really?
Yes. No, I'm trying. I'll send you the information when I find it.
Yeah,
Okay.
here's
I feel like they should be arrested. Maybe looked into. I don't feel like they should be arrested in the event that the person they accuse isn't.
But this is only for cases where it's overturned like this. They for sure know that, like, the person comes out and admits that they lied, or they find DNA that says that. It has to be for sure, not the ones where, yeah,
I mean,
it has to be for sure.
I think we need to take the approach of being like prevention over a solution after it happens. Like,
That's what me and Rose was talking about.
This is especially with to me, that they're not careful with our cases involving Black people.
Correct.
They need to be, so when they have, let's say they have a victim, a Black girl, you know, America does not give a fuck about Black women. And then you have a Black man that's the accuser, the accused. It's a double for them. It's a win. They're like, okay, like, we don't really give a fuck who's right and who's wrong in here. We got one of them that's gonna go to jail. Like, they're not careful enough with us. So I think to prevent all this shit, when this shit happens, they need to start taking their time to see who is lying and who is telling the truth. Make it take the investigation seriously. Let's get these statements. Let's get these evidence. Let's get this DNA. Let's get all of these things that we need to do to get to the bottom of the story, so we can get justice for the right person. So if we can find out who the fuck is lying, who the fuck is telling the truth, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have to say, should they go to jail or not? Like, if a motherfucker is gonna lie about some shit, let's catch him. Let's catch him in a lie and be like, no, you full of shit. Now we gonna take your ass to jail for trying to accuse somebody of doing some shit they didn't do. Like, Rose, you ruined somebody's life. Like, saying somebody did something to you that didn't do nothing to you. You ruined a nigga's life. Like,
For life.
we only get one of these lives. Like, how, you know what I'm saying? So that's punishment.
Think of that man. I can't think of it. Was that
We're
lady?
gonna get to it.
You know who I'm talking about? You know who I'm
Who?
talking about, that lady?
Who? What
Which
lady?
one?
The one she lived in San Francisco. And that man was in jail for years. And then she
Oh yeah.
came on the show and the man said he accepted her apology and everything. And she said she lied. He was in jail for like almost
30
10
years? Was that one? There's
Just
so many.
Just think Emmett Till lost his life, and that lady came out and said she
Lied.
lied. And even though she was
Right.
80, they should have locked her ass up.
Show
Right.
should have. Show
Right.
should have.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's been
so
happening to us.
So
yeah, so
Jojo, let's have Jojo speak, and then I want to play part 2 because you're going to get to hear something, and then we'll go full. Well, I'll play that, and then we'll play the young kid who lost his whole career. Go ahead, Jojo.
yeah,
Jojo.
I actually spoke to a public defender on the issue. Had issues in that department as well, and so what was explained to me is that you have to have the philosophy of the impact versus intent. And though you're right, ideally, the intent is to make sure that if we do lock up false accusations, then your intent is to make sure it's a deterrent. Unfortunately, the impact it's going to have is it may sway people who actually have gone through it really or seriously. It might scare them to go and actually make depositions and go and write complaints and file complaints. And for that reason, they're not they're not they're not being or they're not actively pursuing people who have these false, unless it's egregious, obviously. But yeah, unfortunately, the philosophy behind it is even though we would want to deter, we also don't want to scare off the people who are actually going through it for real. So that's what was explained. It wasn't an explanation that I was completely satisfied with, but I could understand what they're trying to do. But unfortunately, yeah, it's not solving a problem. And I'm leaning towards Ron's example, which is probably the fairest way to go, which is to really take their time with the investigation and really figure out what's going on.
Okay, let's listen to part 2 and find out what the lawyer says. Here we go.
Now, I specialize in this, so I get a disproportionate amount of clients in this area. You might find this to be about 8, 9, or 10% of the cases in the system now, but that is still very statistically significant.
Now, there's a current movement of believe all victims, believe all women, or start from believing. And look, Joseph, I get it. As I said in the opening, there have been generations of women who were not believed or who were blamed for being sexually assaulted. And, this movement might be a cultural one. But to what extent do you think that this cultural movement has actually had an impact on the justice system and on the presumption of innocence?
So that's a very good point here. So there has been a very good maturation or evolution in the criminal justice system over the last 2 decades, where victims of domestic and sexual violence are recognized, their rights are protected, they're handled in special ways in court, and there are legitimate cases that need to be prosecuted and people need to be found guilty for it. That said, I find it disturbing that we would start any investigation from a point where you absolutely at face value believe any complainant, because in all cases where you investigate, I don't think we should have a different standard of investigation depending upon the gender or the nature of the offense. I think it's very important to try and start from an open mind, gather as much evidence, and that adds to the integrity of the system. So starting from a point of view where we believe every allegation can diminish the quality of investigations, the quality of the evidence that's presented, and therefore can have a disproportionate impact on people who are truly innocent, and that can lead to wrongful convictions.
Now, we've got about a minute left in this segment, but do you think that this movement of believe victims, if it is actually only certain types of victims, and you kind of mentioned domestic assault victims and sexual assault victims who traditionally were or historically have not been believed, but is this movement in other areas of criminal law, or is it really about the nature of the crime?
It really is the gender and the nature of the crime. So it's domestic and sexual offenses. That's where we see this ethos which has developed. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't disbelieve the complainant once you interview them, but that doesn't mean you presume guilt. You have to work through the process. And I've seen often interviewing officers right at the face value have made this distinction. And that has really caused, an improper or skewed investigation.
So there's the answer. They don't go for it the same way. It will impact a life. And because there's so much white gloves and things like Rose talked about, she don't want to touch this topic because look at what can happen. The law enforcement is facing the same thing. So basically what you're telling me is that if somebody goes in tomorrow and says that my brother that you are looking at on the screen right now, because yes, I am a woman, but I also have a brother. I also have a nephew. People have sons. If somebody just goes in and says that he did these things to them, automatically he has to figure out how to get himself out of that, because they're going to believe the person that said it. He is guilty until proven innocent. How any human, before being a man, before being a woman, we are human. Why can't people see that there's something wrong with that? That is not okay. It's not. But there's
Especially
the
when it's the exact opposite of what the law says. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but it's
Yeah.
guilty.
As soon as you get arrested, you down the drain.
And let's not get it twisted. That's especially with us. It ain't like that for everybody.
It is. That's what I'm saying. As soon as you get arrested, it ain't no proving until innocent.
Yeah.
It's like you're done.
We're
It's
done.
a wrap. You losing all kind of deals and jobs and everything. You ain't went to court or nothing. They just put the handcuffs on you.
Right.
And you lost
soon as
everything.
it gets out there. So how much worse will it be with social media? Because if I want to accuse you, I can also go on the internet and say it. And guess what? How do I know that everybody that it touched on the internet is going to be retouched when I say, oh, they didn't do it? Because let me tell you what happened. You guys know I looked up cases to see how bad is this now. There was a young white kid that had a record. He stole cars. He did all of these things, which is kind of like what we alluded to about Diddy. Like, the man did a bunch of shit. We believe everything that you said. But if he didn't do something that is clear, it's not fair to put that on him too. This young man did all of these things. He was 16. He did all of these things. When the accusation came in for that of a 14-year-old, automatically put in jail. Now, everything he did before then, he got to be Caucasian. They let him out. He do it. But when that one came in, he got put in jail. It came out later that he didn't do it and he got let out. Clear didn't do it, not on the fence. I'm only talking about the ones with clear he didn't do it. The article for telling who he was this long. I can't even read it. It's going to be down below. I'll post it. The article that said he was innocent was a paragraph. You just ruined that boy's life. What was it? The Park Five? Those, let's not forget about them. There was another guy that was accused of it recently and spent 30 years in jail. He went in as an adolescent. He came out as a grown-up, having missed his whole entire life.
Yeah, that's what I just seen him. I just looked it up right now. That man that I was talking about last year, he went on Dr. Phil. He spent
what was his
14
name?
I would have to be
okay, go ahead.
On it. But he spent 14 years in jail, and then Dr. Phil brought her on there for her to say she apologized. So she put a book out and everything. And that man actually said he forgave her. He did. He spent 14 years in there. She was lying. That other man, Ronnie Long, spent 44 years in jail. That's the one that had got like $25 million or something, because he spent 44 years in jail and he didn't
And think
do that
about
to
the ones that don't get a dime because theirs isn't televised.
Right.
Here's what I think people should, the same way that you could go on and say that you're a victim, I think that you should be required to go on and hit all those same places that you said that it happened
and say that you a liar.
and say that you a liar and not, oh, I misunderstood. Only for the ones that you know for sure it didn't happen. But you should be required to trace those same steps. She should be required to pull that book down and give him every dime. Now watch
Yeah.
this real quick. Let's watch. This could be your son, all because they are admittedly not asking questions. And like we said in the last video, do I think you should be questioned? How can you not? If you're on a jury, you're just gonna just go for whatever. I would never want some of you on my jury because it's not fair. You should make sure that you're clear. The same way you have to make sure you clear for MURDER. The same way, because that's your whole life. That's everything. And they admitted this is from an attorney, and we all knew this, but now they're admitting it. Why? Because social media is taking off. Claims is finna come left and right, especially where there's money. It's not exactly fair. So let's watch the young man who lost his football career.
The end of Brian Banks' ordeal was marked by tears after a judge threw out the rape charge that had sent him to prison for more than 5 years.
My only dream in the world was to just be free and to have the same opportunity as everybody here.
He was a 16-year-old star linebacker with a full-ride scholarship to USC and had dreamed to play in the NFL when in 2002, a classmate accused Banks of raping her in the stairwell of their Long Beach high school. Although Banks insisted it was consensual and there was no sex, he told KCBS TV that his defense attorney at the time gave him a choice: plead no contest to rape or risk a trial that could send him to prison for life.
When you go into that courtroom, the jury is going to see a big black teenager and you're automatically going to be assumed guilty. Those are her exact words.
He took the deal, went to prison, and had to register as a sex offender. He thought that was the end of it. But after he was released, came a surprise: a friend request on Facebook from his accuser, Juanetta Gibson.
I remember closing the laptop just like real quick and just like thinking, like, what did I just see?
So Banks arranged a meeting with a private investigator who videotaped the whole thing. Gibson later explained she hadn't wanted to say that publicly for fear of losing a $1.5 million settlement that her family had gotten after suing the school district.
I may not ever get the answers as to why I was supposed to go through what I went through, but I know that I'm here today and I remain unbroken.
Unbroken and working to get his life back on track. Those dreams of playing in the NFL, he says, might be realized yet.
We'll start with the men. I need a minute. Brother, take over.
Okay. That was like a scenario I described earlier. You know, you got a black female victim, a black male victim. For them, that's barbecue chicken. They're like, okay, somebody's gonna go down in this situation. It's a win-win for them. So my question is, I mean, this is besides the point too, but I did notice he was an adolescent when that happened, right? How the fuck did one of his parents let him plead no contest? Like, fuck what the public defender is talking about. How the fuck did anybody in his family not know what the fuck what a no contest plea means? Why would y'all? Huh?
They scare him, brother.
No. I'm saying so. Wasn't he able to talk to? Like you don't have to make that decision right on the spot, right? He was
some lawyers some that I read, they've used like a scare tactic. They, like you said, they don't spend enough time on this. So like some of them I read, they push you through like a whim, like you better take this deal, you better move fast before they change their mind. Like they treat us different.
No, I'm saying
okay,
unless I'm ignorant to how the law works. So when you're an adolescent, you don't have like an adult there with you. like during that time, like you don't get to consult your parent before you make a decision. So my
Yeah.
question is, how come the parents allowed him to plead no contest? Like I know they probably, the lawyer probably scared him, but the adults got to be ready for that. Like, no, son, we not pleading no contest. Like, no, like how come I'm not blaming them. I just noticed
Right.
that was part of something that I noticed. But I mean, I'm gonna get to them in a minute. So on that part, I'm like, Leia, don't let him do that. But yeah, like I said, they want to see us go down at all costs, and especially when a black man get in trouble and the law see that, they don't give a they want blood. And then the victim, you know, who knows what they were thinking on that side. Like, you know, the little girl at the time facing shame that she got dug out in the stairwell and everybody know about it. So of
Probably all the
course,
kids was.
that's
But
what
brother, he said no sex, so shouldn't they have had to do a kid?
a kid or something, a rape kid or
This is
something like.
recent. That was
So
around, right?
right. So what? Yeah. So that goes to the point of them not even. They saw the
Trying.
black man. They said, "We got one. We got one. Let's get him. We got him. We got one."
He
And
he going to college. We finna ruin his life.
right. I would like to know how that story works. Like, especially on the victim side. Like, did they put like were they just bamboozled? Were they part of that pushing for that to happen? Like, why did that work on that other side? Because I know the law is against us, and I know when they seen that, they said, let's get this nigga and ruin his life and fuck his shit up. So it's really sad that this happens a lot to us. It does happen a lot to us, to getting falsely accused of some shit and never getting a chance to prove your innocence. It's man, I'm sick to my stomach. Like I almost want to cry for a dude, man. Like, damn, like fuck, I couldn't even imagine.
Sometimes they don't call the parents until they do what they want to do. Right. So two things that I found in looking to answer your questions: what they're supposed to do versus what they do. Right.
Mhm.
Who knows if it's a single mom, she gets scared and it's like, I'd rather just take this because I know in advance what they do to us. I'd rather you take this so I only got to lose you for a little bit versus them saying you're going to get triple the time, or they scare you. And so you make your decisions sometimes based on that. You can't afford a lawyer. You don't feel like you have time to talk to somebody. Do I think that you should do that? I think that we should start talking about it more so that these things are known and you know it, to your point, being proactive. If we talk about these things, they hear it more. Because there wasn't a lot of cases out there for me to even pull from where again they followed up or they've allowed a platform for somebody to talk about it. But now they will know that no, this isn't normal. Yes, no matter what, your parents should still be there from the whole gate. You should be provided time to think about it. You're not rushed. We have to talk about it more because so many people don't know, brother. And then they end up, even the white guy in his report, he was saying the same thing. They told me because I had all these things against me that I should listen to them and just take this deal because this is the best that could be offered. If they see me go before the jury and I have a rap sheet, then they're going to say that I probably did this too since I disobey or whatever. But it was stealing cars, stuff like that, never touching nobody. But they still
So
convinced him to say that he did it.
so they pretty much capitalize off of our ignorance. So it's like to the point of, okay, let's say he pleads no contest right there. So after that, there has to be a trial. There has to be the proof the evidence has to kick in. They have to do the testing and all that stuff because they have
Why
to
are you
prove
shaking
that.
your head, no, JoJo?
Oh, no?
Because at that point it's left only to the judge to decide. And actually, I have the information. The reason why there wasn't an adult there is because when he was arrested and arraigned, he was not afforded the luxury of getting his mandatory phone call, and they made him make that decision within 10 minutes of seeing the judge. The plea deal was available for 10 minutes.
So now that explains everything.
That's
As that
crazy.
goes
And
back to
that's
my point I
illegal.
made.
We're
That
telling you, Jojo, Ron Rod is right. That's illegal.
that
That's not
that goes back to the point I
Whoa.
made earlier. When they see us, they want to get us. The system is against us, so they break all the rules. This is nothing new. This is something that's been happening since the beginning. They want to get us at any opportunity, so they don't give a fuck. They're going to break all the rules. I mean, there's so many stories of this going on. But y'all seen the Central Park Five, right? That was one of
Yeah,
Yes,
that was the same thing. They did.
same
endorse.
thing.
They did the same thing. But JoJo, with even though they made the boy plead in 10 minutes, when his parents can't come, can't he take it back? Or because he said he did no contents
Because he already accepted the plea deal.
But he was a
So
without
minor.
you
the
can appeal, right, JoJo? The Charlie Joe. You can appeal, right?
You would think so. I would hope so, being that he was a minor. Wasn't he a
yeah,
minor?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So
he was
they should have been thrown out. And I
They
think
probably
being that
tried
I
him
had
as an adult.
experienced the court system, like experiencing that. I fought. What was it? A manslaughter. No, no lawyer. It's just literally standing on business. Like if you know for a fact that you didn't do it, the truth is always going to come out at the end. And so then that would his parents did him a disservice. Like you know what I'm saying? The United States, like you know what I'm saying?
You're
Everybody
right.
failed him,
Well,
and that's so sad.
the truth
Yeah,
ain't always gonna come out in the end
it's
for
unfortunate.
us,
It's not
At
the
some
truth.
point,
But
it
what you're
does.
saying is you
not
have a
for
better
us.
chance,
At
like
that
you
point,
initially said, you have a better chance if you go to trial because at
take
that
the
point,
trial.
yes, legally, the
You're
prosecutors
right.
have to give all the evidence and have to do all of these things, and you can request certain things as well. So
If
you
you
do
get the
have a better
opportunity.
chance, like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you go
if
to
you get the opportunity.
right, like you said.
Because in a Central Fork Fire case, that case, they interrogated those boys for 12 24 hours
Hours.
straight, didn't
Right.
eat them, didn't let them eat, scared the fuck out of them, and
Right.
made them made them confess to some shit or turn on each other and blame each other for the shit, and they end up fucking sending all of them to jail.
Right.
So the truth didn't come out there until 30 years later, until those guys were exonerated 30 years later, and they're already in
Right.
their 50s. So
Right.
that's where it's a slippery slope for us, because we can't depend on the law to protect us. We can't
Right.
depend
So
on the rules that don't apply for us.
well,
So
what
now
else
back
did they?
that back into your initial question. Shouldn't he have did X, Y, and Z? Yeah, they should have. And the parents did a disservice.
Because
Back
they
that
didn't know
into
that.
everything we just said. It can either be, to JoJo's point, Charlie Joe, and Ron Ron's point, the parents did a disservice. Or it could be all of our point that we've kind of touched on. What if you were scared? What if you knew that if you went this far, they still could do you a disservice and fuck you worse? And instead of getting the 3 years or the 5 years, you're getting 15 years because you challenge it. If you're dealing with a dirty person, they're going to be dirty all the way through. So
Right.
what if you're scared? We,
What
How
was the
scared are
it's-
you
other
gonna
back
be?
part
Like
to the
how
story,
scared are you gonna
JoJo?
be? You gonna be
I
scared
couldn't
of your
hear.
brother? Or you scared trying to fight? I said, how scared are you gonna be though? Are you gonna be scared trying to fight, or are you just gonna take that shit and lay down
I'm
scared?
with you, JoJo,
I'm
Charlie.
fighting.
I don't,
I'm fighting, baby. I'm sorry.
No, I said I
and
was
I
asking
love you for that.
JoJo. I was asking JoJo what was the other back part to the story.
Okay, so um the lawyer, sorry, the judge, it was later on found out that the judge presiding on the case gets money for juvenile detention programs by sending kids to that program through the judicial system. So he gets kids, sends them there, they get rehabilitated through that program, they get money from the government or NGOs for that program, but the judges that send them there, they get some kind of bonuses as well, or something of the sort. Like that. This case happened. This case involving a judge. Things like that happened twice. This one in Long Beach, and I think the other one was in Michigan, I believe. Another judge involved in Michigan, where kids are being sent to this juvenile prison, being rehabilitated through a specific program, and that program wants kids, but we also want to make sure we take care of the judges that send them there. On that one, on the Michigan case one, The judge ended up going to jail because I guess the way he did it was very different than the way the other guy did it. The other judge in Long Beach County did it, so he didn't end up going to jail. But there is a funneling. There's definitely a funneling. They
Public school
funnel
in prison.
through the judicial system into the prison system. Definitely.
I think so too.
It's a
That
conflict of
makes
interest
sense.
for the judges
Yeah.
to be um, fraternizing with the prison owners. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's already just private. It's private owned in itself. And I want to say it's so crazy because Dr. Phil and they were all accused of sending those kids to
Oh yeah.
rehabilitation place, right? And they were being abused. So it all ties in together. Like, that's it's crazy. It's like 1 in a million, not even 1 in a million. Like 4 out of 20 are lies. But the statistics are still high. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
That's still very high.
I feel like they overexpose the stories that are false, you feel me? In a
Yes.
way that kind of like hush the stories that are true. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yes.
no, that was like, for instance, when that lady went disappear or said she was kidnapped, right? And then she ended up just dipping because the boyfriend left her one night, right? It was still like, oh, well, you're making it bad for everybody. Like, no, this is just one case. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
One
this is
case.
just one
Right.
case. Like, you know, hell, this shit is crazy.
I think they use any opportunity to
Any
stop
opportunity.
helping us.
Any opportunity.
Yeah,
Any
because that
opportunity.
one didn't represent everybody. And
Exactly.
she apologized. She took ownership. Sometimes you just have to show people grace. And I don't think
Yes.
we do enough of that. And accountability and grace. She took her accountability. She did. And I was grateful at the way that it turned out for her, because the same way that, you know, it came out publicly, which she didn't expect to happen. It took, what are the odds that that case would be pulled, or situation would actually be picked up and everybody listen and do all of those things. She didn't intentionally do that. That's why we kind of talk over here about intention versus some things that just happen, and we still need to correct and offer grace and all of those things. But I appreciate the way it turned out for her. What I didn't is so much so like is that people couldn't wait to jump on her. You did this. I can't believe you did it. Well, she kind of didn't. She did what she did. I mean, but she didn't herself put it on the internet and do all of those things. I just think life now with social media is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different. And people are going to be looking for those things. So, anybody have anything to say before we close?
Yeah, if I could just add one thing quickly. You know how we always joke about, you know, when the police officer pulls you over and they give you a ticket, we always have this quota joke, or he probably trying to make his quota, or whatever the case may be. Well, guess what? Lawyers, prosecutors, judges, they have quotas too. And they're trying to keep up with those quotas. And unfortunately, it's at the hand of some people who probably don't deserve to go to jail. I just wanted to point that out. That exists. The reason why this is close to the chest for me is because, though not to that degree, something similar happened to me where the system failed. But you know, it is what it is. I had to take a plea deal myself. I took a 7-year restraining order on my record when I didn't have to. But because I was in a he said, she said, which the justice system, if you people don't know, is designed on a philosophy that in any case of any physical violence, 60% of the time, men are more violent than women, and solely based on that, they judge automatically the men to be guilty. When in my case, I wasn't. So, you know, just be careful out there.
Yeah, be careful, fellas.
I'm sorry that happened to you too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was scary as hell to be going through that.
Sorry it happened to you, bro.
Yeah.
Yep, the system is not.
Probably, you know, girlfriend, she cheated, you trying to confront her or whatever, you know, things are being said, and she throws a pen at me. I push her to the side and I walk away. When the police officer comes in, he tells me verbatim, he says, she threw that pen at you. If she broke a finger throwing it at you, we would take you. We would not take her. That's what he told me. So it's a good thing you ran out. I just wanted to take my stuff and leave.
Well, you gotta look at this. This is the overall of it. The system was not built for us; it's built against us. And in order for them to continue to keep our race bound, they take our black men out, who are supposed to be the head of the family. So they got to continue to do that to our black men. The system is built against us. We were 3/5 of a man legally. Just because they changed that law, don't mean they don't have that same mentality about us. We're still 3/5 of a man to them. So they know that we're stronger. They know that we're smarter. They know we're all this shit. So they're gonna keep working to take us out, and that's just what the system. We can't keep relying on this system to treat us right when it wasn't built to treat us right. This system is the same, was built by the same motherfuckers who run this country still to this day. So, like you said, we just gotta be extra careful, be extra smart, be extra up on our game. Like they told us when we were applying for jobs, we gotta be 2 times better. We gotta
That's
be
right.
2 times more educated. We got to be 2 times everything. We got to be 2 times more, up on game about, our laws and our rights and everything and all the knowledge that we need to have to go ahead and succeed in this fucked up ass country. So everybody be careful, you know what I'm saying, and look out for each other and try to be as honest as possible with shit. So, in order to keep us progressing.
Well, I'll go. I just want to say, if you're a victim, speak out. Or if you know some shit is happening, speak out. If some shit has happened to you before, and the person who did it is still around, lingering around, like, speak out. Like, you feel me? Because a lot of trauma could be nipped at the bud if somebody took the courage and spoke up. Like, you know what I mean? Save a life and use common sense, even though common sense isn't even common.
Right.
Use what you
You
feel like.
get it after you learn sometimes.
Follow your heart, guys. And Adrian, thank you for having me. I mean, the madam, thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming and sharing your experience and speaking from being an actual victim. And we are happy that you are healed better, on your way to healing, starting your channel, doing great things in life. How long sober again?
It'll be a year next month, guys. Like, just think.
Congratulations.
This is lemonade. Okay. No, but it's so crazy because sexual assault can lead to you abuse and other things. And I was an alcoholic. Like, I was literally an alcoholic for like 20 years. Like, because I'm 38. And I was literally like a full-blown alcoholic. So this is my first year of full-blown, just like, embracing this new life that God is blessing me with. Like, this new journey. So
I'll take a shot for you.
Shut up, Rashada.
Congratulations. All of the family is saying congratulations in the comments.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We are super proud of you. And for those that do have family, I'll tell you another piece of advice that was given to me, because I don't close on this show. Ron closes on this show. That's true. Is very true. So sometimes when you see somebody acting out as an adult, we've talked about this before, we're all going to go through something. And I mean, in our adult years, that's attached to something we went through when we were younger. And when you see family or those that are close and it looks to you like they're coddling, again, have some grace, because just like we said about the other topic, sometimes things are attached to that. So that's what makes the person not a bad person. It is not intentional, and work with them through it. Try to get them to the other side as best as you can, because that matters, how much love you show them. Congratulations. God bless you, Charlie Joe. Thank you for saying that.
All right, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Jojo, and then Ron will close this up. No, you, Jojo.
All right, everyone, make sure to stay on your P's and Q's, stay informed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This was another successful show. See you guys next week. And all right.
Charlie Joe, again, we want to thank you for coming on the show, and want to say we definitely have sympathy for what happened to you, and feel sorry for what happened to you, and hope that you continue to heal and continue to ascend on your healing journey so you can be your best self, and God bless you going forward. But yeah, I think everybody should definitely want to make sure that we going forward, we stay studying, we stay on our P's and Q's, getting two times better in every subject when it comes to this stuff, because it ain't built for us to win, man. We got to break this shit going forward. We can't let this continue to happen. So what we got to do is, for the next generation, we want everybody to make better decisions. Make better decisions on who you have kids with. Let's try to keep our Black families together. A lot of assault victims don't have fathers around to protect them. Black men are supposed to be there to protect. So we want to make sure we stay there to protect going forward, teach our kids to try to, have strong Black families growing up, so we can make sure we have clean families, and don't let this shit continue to go through with these generations, because it needs to stop. We got to put a stop to it. So make sure y'all subscribe, like, and share, and come back next week. I don't know if it's part 3 or for something new, but it's gonna be good as hell.
We are on to something new.
Okay. We on to something new. So come mess with us next week, and we be back. See y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.